Always the applause for me. Okay. Happy Thursday. Happy 8 hour of the evening, afternoon. I don't know. I don't even understand how that goes. I don't know why you use that. I just always feel like I have to say a lot of like different happies. Happy this, happy that. But I will admit that I think in my subconscious mind wanted me to overcompensate for the fact that I am extremely sleepy. So we're going to get through this, y'all. We are going to get through this show. I'm not regretting it because I will break to you now that we will not be meeting next week. I will miss y'all, but I can definitely use a bye week. Okay. However, before we get into all of the good stuff, allow me to welcome back each of you to another episode of the B Mix right here only on BigExposedRadio.com. You already know who Thursday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time are for. Everybody, the unseen, the unheard, the overlooked, the forgotten, whether it be the forgotten part of you or for the person that does not belong anywhere. Me, B. So, welcome. And while we are in the mood of welcoming, welcome back, Jasmine, y'all. Welcome back.
Thank you. I was trying to make a frame around my picture.
I love it. Look, I was about to say, I love that. I like that. I didn't even know that was an option, like the different backgrounds. I was like, oh, wow. I've never played with any of them. So
this is the first time for me.
Okay. Listen,
I think I'm going to do the pearls.
That's good. Pearls for the girls.
Are we touching?
Listen, you know what? Keep them right there because everything is hitting me for this topic tonight. But see, let me hold my mule. Let me not get ahead of myself. Speaking of getting ahead of myself, before I even get into our moment of a history of racial injustice, I have to backpedal, y'all. And I have worn this all week. I haven't wanted to say anything to him about it because even though I wanted him to know that I didn't mean to, like no part of me, I wanted to end the show last week by giving a like very warm, he gonna be mad that I'm doing this, but whatever, he'll get over it. A very warm and special shout out to my producer, Monty. Last Thursday, that Monday before or prior to last week's show was his birthday. And so I was gonna incorporate it in like the happy intros and all, but I was like, no, I'm gonna save this one for the end. And child, I got out of there last week. I ain't lying. And it was not supposed to go that way. So I just need him to know publicly so he can run this back, every time I get on his nerves, for him to know that I appreciate him and the V-Mix loves you. So
happy birthday.
Belated birthday. I'm so
happy belated, I mean.
Right. It was supposed to be last week. It was still been late, but it's still, you know what I mean? It was the intent was
it's still in Scorpio season. So
Lord, it is. Moving on, psych money. So okay. So getting us right along again, getting us to our moment of a history of racial injustice. Brought to you by Equal Justice Initiative. Today, I was about to jump to it is the 18th. I was about to jump to the 18th. See, I'm sleepy, y'all. Forgive me. All right. All right, here we go. So Thursday, November 18th in 1983, Chicago police beat, electrocute, and threatened to castrate James Cody, one of more than 100 Black men the department systematically, tortured over 3 decades. When you get a chance, look up James Cody. That's James, James, last name Cody. Look him up. Look him up. And I'm never trying to encourage any of us to be, in a sense, I'm never trying to encourage us to be like just angry, just walk around just angry, just get mad. But we need to know. We've heard it plenty of times growing up, and I'm not going to stay here long, I promise. But we need to know. We need to be aware of like, wow, y'all are just vicious. Like have been, still are. Hopefully we'll stop being at some point, but sheesh.
Yeah.
Okay. And I just, again, they beat, electrocuted, and threatened to castrate him. And he was one of more than, okay, be very clear, one of more than 100 Black men the department systematically, as a system, tortured over 3 decades. Okay.
Wow.
So, all right, wow. Y'all. I gotta shift us from that.
What year was that?
That was 1983. So, like yesterday. Just saying.
Yeah.
Like
7 years before we were born.
Right. Like just saying. So, wow. Okay, for real. I don't have a good transition to get from that moment, but I really implore you to just look that up, and then I'm sure you'll come along quite a few of the other men that are named that were also tortured. Okay. Again, I don't have a good transition, so I'm just gonna hop.
Listen, it's so funny. I do want to say something because I'm like, you know how like you read something like that and naturally your mind just thinks like, but it's funny because it like when you hear about stuff like that, it makes you even wonder how certain people who were absolutely like around during that time could say like, oh, racism is done and we need to just put it behind us. Like, but if this was your child
and that's it,
if this was somebody you loved, you wouldn't so easily cast this situation aside. And I think it's so easy sometimes for our society and people in it to dismiss things that they aren't personally impacted by. And so, I'll just leave it there.
No, that's a really good. I'm glad you did pull that out because reminders are so good, and I hope that each of you out there are. I'm sorry, I was like searching for my thoughts. I know I probably look crazy on the camera, but that I hope that each of you out there are. I don't want to keep saying that because I know I'm probably driving into the ground the phrase "take heed," but I can't help it. Like that's really how I be feeling. Like taking heed to the signs. And briefly, I'll interject this: that I think it was this past Sunday, maybe it's Sunday before. I can't remember. Very recently, there was a visiting preacher, and his topic was directions and directives. So, meaning that we may be given and provided directions, but then we're also missing the sign. So as you're driving, you know that you are, for those of you in Baltimore, you know that you're driving, I'm gonna say northbound, but I don't really know which way that is. I'm gonna just say North Avenue. Because in my mind, I'm like, I'm driving down North Avenue. Okay, is that north or south? I don't know. I'm driving down North Avenue. Okay.
That's either east or west or west to east.
Okay, cool. So good. So I'm driving on North Avenue eastbound, right? And that's fine and all, but I also need to be paying attention to the signs on the road, or if we think on the highway where there's more, cars and moving vehicles at high speed. So there's a lot of intensity. There's probably some built anxiety, all of that, and you still need to be paying attention to the signs. So it's the same. That's what your directives are. So we get stuck in believing that we have the directions. Like, oh yeah, I got it. Yeah. I am going to pick on you people for just a second, and I am excluding myself from this. Because it's probably happened far and few that I've never understood the people that put on the GPS, but then I'll be like, oh yeah, I know where I'm going, cut it off. No. Actually, I'm the person to keep it on the entire time. First of all, I use the GPS even in the city, a city that I'm born and raised in, and I still use the GPS because in my mind, my logic is, I may not have, even if I'm going to my mother's house, a very familiar place, follow me, a very familiar place and destination that I'm traveling to, I may not have necessarily traveled to this familiar place from this particular place that I currently find myself from this location. So I may either want to find any route, I want to be clear of the best route, the shortest distance, whatever the case may be, or to avoid traffic and all that. And so sometimes you do need to be redirected to receive direction, but then don't be stuck on the fact that you have direction and miss the directives that are there to help guide you, on the direction and the path that you're supposed to take. So take that and apply that to, life and to whatever your it thing is that you are facing right now. But even just back to Jasmine, of like what you said, like that I want to believe that we have moved from, or we are moving just as the people, moving from the place of where people were so, it's still a work in progress. I had to think about it. We're not far removed from this, but we're getting there. It's like a chip of the iceberg, but still getting there, that people seem not to be able to relate if it did not happen to them personally. And when you were talking earlier, it made me think of that then, of like, well, just for people to really think that either, like you said, that racism, I don't know, I can't believe that some people back then, but even folks now, no matter what the age is, because it actually ranges of different ages, some even it ranges in background too, because there are some skin folk that aren't necessarily kin folk that want to believe that as well, and say that now, when we clearly still see it right now, and we see it more vividly than probably we ever have. It's just the fact that it's recorded and there's proof and evidence, and so for us to continue to fight against it, or not to fight against it, but to push in order to break through that mold of not choosing to be stuck in a place where, if it didn't happen to me, if it wasn't my child, if it wasn't my dad, if it wasn't my brother, if it wasn't my mom, if it wasn't my aunt, whatever, like it's still a person, like it's a human being at the end of the day. And so I agree wholeheartedly, and I just pray for us as a people. I just pray for all people. It's the very least I can do. And so when you talked about, you said a word, I cannot remember. I really wish. I am very sleepy, I know, because
that ain't all you do, Benia.
I mean, well, I'm just
your show is dedicated to empowering our people.
Listen, man.
So, two ways: praying, and also having a message for anybody who is in a place to receive.
Oh, Jazz. Thank you. We need that, y'all. We be needing that. It's okay to feed. Listen, this takes us for thank you. See, prime example. It takes us right into topic, right? So I know that. What in the world do you mean, Benia? What do you mean, civil departures? Anyone? Question mark. Like what are you saying? So let me talk about this. Really came about from recent. I guess I'll say recent experiences of like entertaining like gentlemen, I ain't even gonna say suitors, I don't know, and being so, I don't even want to say so good because that sounds like boastful, but just so at peace, right? So much in a place of peace, of choosing just to be like, and so the fact that, Jess, first of all, thank you again, and I received that, but the fact that I'm at such a place where I can do this and feel so good about it, it's so good that it's behind me once it's happened. I wanted to just take the time during the show, dedicate this show to get into that. Of like, one, let's get into the fact that why we feel like any breakup, departure, because I say departure because if it's not a relationship, I don't even know what you call it. Like break away, not break up. Right? Like whatever, right?
Ending.
Okay, right. So ending, right? So whatever ending comes about in any aspect of your life, work, relationships, relatives, friendships, I mean, a new direction that you're being, placed in, it's like, I thought I was going here with life, but now it's actually there. Like, why is it that, and I'm sure it just stems back to a lot of just what we've dealt with as a people and just operating from survival and all of those deep, psychological reasons. But why is it that we feel like it has to be this big blow up? Like, can we just depart like civilized human beings? Like, can I just be okay, first of all, in myself, to say, you know what, I'm going to share with this person or this place, this thing, that X, Y, and Z, these are, not even my demands, because I'm beyond this point. I know I'm leaving. I know I'm departing. These are my things. This did not happen, and I'm not I'm not, just what is what is. And I am removing myself from there, or I am leaving from this, or I choose, not to partake, or whatever the case may be. Like, can we just do that? I want to see us to practice that a lot more. I don't want us to be okay with continuing on with like breaking apart from things or people in these like high intensified violent, I don't know, just all different types of, ways that just are not peaceful. Like, choose your peace.
Yeah, just working on aligning yourself.
That's it. People. That's it.
And if it don't align, then it's like, oh, I wish you well.
That's it. That's it.
It's so funny because when I say that, I really be meaning it. Like, hey, you're not fitting for me, but that don't mean that I wish you ill will.
Exactly. And it took me a while. I'm not gonna lie. I used to be the person. This shows that it takes healing for everybody and in every situation. I don't know what's happening with my hair, and I really could care less of that.
Stop. It looks so cute.
It was like, I looked at it, it was something happening. But yeah, so it took me a while, y'all. I will definitely admit it took me a while from like when I, broke up from, I told you, my 2 serious boyfriends. And especially the very first one. And I'm just like, y'all said, wish them well. Nigga, no, it was, I did the loving. I was great. Why would I wish you well? Right? And I never, it's crazy though. I guess I was halfway there because I still didn't wish ill upon them, but I just was not at the healed place to be like, oh yeah, I wish you well. Like now it's like, oh yeah, absolutely. I want you to seek peace. I want you to seek therapy. I want you to just be all that you can be, right? But yeah, that's good. And same here. I be meaning it. Let me give you a prime example because I ain't told y'all a little dating scenario in a minute. So hold on, because I'm not, I never give names anything. I'm not, but I do like receipts as in like reference. See? Condom because I don't say no number. No. No. Okay. So boom. Hold on. I swear it should be close around here somewhere.
Take your time, somebody's mama.
Thank you. Okay, I'm trying. Thank you so much. I'm sorry. Shout out to my trainer. He's getting me out of. Oh wait, no, that's something else. Oh, got it. Woo. Because I was like, okay, it was me. Okay, so I don't know why I scrolled to the beginning. Okay, y'all, I'm gonna read straight from this. So the scenario is that met this guy. Okay, fine. Change number. Okay. And our initial conversation, we talk, and it like usual old normal scenario for Benia. I end up being in a position because it's so funny to be the person, I guess, that's done the healing, or you can identify yourself. You can identify your role. There's your B tip of the week. Because I had no clue where it was going to come from, what it was going to be. Keep on your healing journey so that at the very least, so you're able to identify your role. You will play a role in everything that you do. Every single day, every moment of your day, you play a role. If you are unaware of the role that you play, because it does change even throughout the day, it doesn't mean that you're funny acting. It doesn't make you phony. Like, here we're all about raw authenticity, like organic material and, people like inside of you. Right. And so it doesn't mean just because you changed up, you play this role here, you're the listener or you're the giver over here, and then you switch up throughout the day. But it will happen because different situations, life continues to just happen, right? Yeah. And so it is for you, your consistency in it is not necessarily to play the same role. You can still be you and assert your full self in the role that you play, but that title or that hat may change, and that's okay. That is what a lot of unhealed people miss and just misunderstand, misinterpret. And then, like I've heard plenty of times in my life that, that's where they want to identify you as phony or, funny acting or something like that. Like, what y'all say these days, moving different. Lord, I can't keep up.
Listen.
Yeah.
Okay. Me neither.
Okay.
Too many daggone phrases.
It's too many.
I just grab hold of the ones that I think sound cute, and I'm like, oh yeah, that'll definitely work in my vocabulary. I'm not one of those
Y'all hear
people
that?
that be like, oh yeah, that's on trend. now.
Right. That's good. Y'all know I'm big on that. That is good right there, because I do talk about like these trendy sayings and stuff. Y'all know I always fuss about that one. Like, I'm dead. I always fuss about that one. So if it does not align with you, that's the same thing about you identifying your role. So thank you, Jasmine. Yep. Identifying your role in everything that you do. So not just in every moment, but in everything that you do, wherever you find yourself physically, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, where you find yourself, whatever role you play in a particular circumstance or scenario. It even boils down to the very, trending sayings and phrases and colloquialisms and all of that you decide to, adopt and adapt to your vocabulary. Like, if it don't align with you, because Jasmine talked about it each time she's really been on here. I was about to try to identify one or the other, but every time she's always talked about like alignment and everything. Every time we talk, I really appreciate that, because it's always a constant reminder for me, like, anything that I do is either reminding me that something I have done, that I made sure it aligned with me, or that it reminds me of when I, step into something, when I'm faced with something. It's like, oh yeah, let me make sure this aligns, right? Because other than that, and I get it, it's easy to be like, oh, I'm gonna just do this for the heck of it. I'm tired. Oh, no. Yeah. No, everything you do, especially from now on, because of the time that we are in, and it's really been that case, but now we are much more aware. Going back to when we were talking about the people and like society, and when we think about the generations that were stuck in the place of, oh, if it don't pertain to me personally, that like moving with the times. Now, things are, we're a lot, we like to say we're woke. I ain't heard nobody say that. But like, we're much more aware. That's the part. Yeah. That's where we are now as a people, that we are much more aware than any other generation has ever shown to be. So I'm not going to take their credit, but shown to be. And so once you are, like, even for me, as I began to awaken and become more aware, it is hard for me sometimes to consider that there are so many other people that are not. And so you have to consider that you are amongst so many different people, hence why your role will switch up and change. Because whereas you might have been the person that someone was pouring into, just in that moment, that someone was much more aware than you were on a particular topic, now you have come across someone else. Maybe you're running to the Dollar Tree, and then now you find yourself in Walmart. Now you're the person that is feeding and sowing into somebody else and lifting someone else's vibrations.
And that's exactly how it's supposed to be.
Right? Exactly.
You receive information that is helpful, you give it. Exactly. You give it because, that information won't just help you. It can help anybody. And you never know who might need it. And sometimes that's why I say I like your show. That's why I promote self-love so much. Because you could say something one time, but that doesn't mean that the person is in the position to receive it. We go through life every day, like you said, and different situations call different emotions to us or make us come to different realizations. And then we're like, oh, that makes me think of what I saw Benia talking about or what I saw Jasmine talking about. Mm-hmm. And now you're in a place where you're ready to receive. And now you can go back. That's the beauty of the social media. We recorded it. We posted it. It's there. Yeah. So whenever you're ready.
Absolutely. That's good. That's good. I appreciate that, Jazz. Yeah, that's good. I will admit, I'm sorry. This tells you how sleepy I really am. I think it was earlier, so I think I'm clear, but I guess now I'm telling myself now. Did I sit here? Did I pass gas while we were on the show?
While you were on what show? On
the show, like right now. Did I do that? Like recently? Okay.
I didn't even hear it.
I swore. I was like, did I just do that and just not say anything? Okay.
Listen, if you did, now we know, and that's okay, right? Because we all do it.
Okay, and I told y'all I'm disgusting, but I'm telling you, I've had one recently where it ripped, and I was like, and I don't know, my brain just took me there, and I was like, was it on the show? Like, was that right now? I don't know. I can't even recall. I'm sleepy. Okay.
I'm happy that it's all right. At least we can't smell it.
Okay, right? That's what I'm saying. That's why I hate when people be on the phone like, ew, girl, you're not like, right here. So.
You're not in my butt.
Okay. That's like, oh my gosh, that's so
People get mad at me because I use the bathroom while I'm on the phone. They're like, oh.
On a regular basis.
I'm like, you acting like you sitting on the toilet with me. Like, it's just a phone.
Like, cut it out.
Smell it. You can't see it. Like,
okay. And it's not, leave me alone. That's just like, I used to say that even about like, you know how it was, I don't know if anybody else, but it was a big deal. Like, ew, you got a wedgie in. And it's like, girl, once I felt liberated, once I just stopped caring, like, yes, it's not like I'm asking you to pull it out. Like, get over it.
It happens.
Exactly.
It's so funny how people make big deals about things that we all experience.
Exactly.
Like, come on.
Like, cut it out.
Can we not?
Can we just not? Like, so
can we be real for a moment?
That's it. Just take a minute and be real. Be liberated. Why don't you? Because right now I am proudly disgusting. And so I digress. But so okay. I veered off completely.
It's all right.
And it's okay because but I do have the text thread up, right? It's not long, so I will read it verbatim. But to give y'all context, so like I said, I met this guy, exchanged number, okay, and then our initial conversation, we were talking about like just I did appreciate that he's like articulate or whatever he's talking, but still like you give like, all right, chill out, like, but okay, I can carry on though.
Right.
Like, so I found myself, that's how I got off. So just that I found myself in the role, in the position of like, okay, I'll clearly be the person kind of advising through this, because clearly not even like, oh, you need advice. It's just, all right, like that's just the role the position I was put in. And so it was like fussing about like an experience that he had like at work. And so he had already kind of texted, and I do appreciate that it wasn't even like like, oh, let me tell you about this or whatever, which it would have been fine too. Cause okay, like I'm a talker,
right?
We can talk some things out. But so I think we were texting. It was like, oh yeah, I was just in the car, like venting for a second or whatever. I don't know if he said he was on the phone with his mom, something like that. And so I was like, oh, okay. So I just picked his brain, like, oh, what happened or whatever. And there we go. So we happened to get on the phone. And so he just walking through. He's like, I really didn't want to turn this whole conversation into this. So I'm like, oh, I didn't ask. So, might as well. Here's all that. Okay, cool. Of course, I'm not tooting my own horn, but, Benia is able to hear other people's stuff and talk and work through it. Like, and just whatever I said to him, like, clearly he was just like, you're right. Like, it's so funny. My experience is always like hearing people think. Or no, not necessarily that, because that sounds creepy and crazy. Okay, so my experience has always been I'm able to acknowledge when someone is in their thought process. And so and to me, I internalize that as you're receiving not just what I'm saying, but just receiving whatever parts of whatever was said to you, whether by me or if it's a group setting, that you're receiving that and compartmentalizing and saying like, okay, I'll take some of this. All right, that looks good. And I'm putting it together. So, so I could tell that even in this is like our initial conversation. And so I'm like, okay, whatever. And so I could just tell then, but just in datingness, I always can tell like that's a part where like, men, like that's where they find themselves like, okay, like I think I already liked you before, but all right. So I'm like, like nigga, all right now, right? So okay, I think we talk, and then I know I'm like, all right, yeah, we're getting off the phone, you're talking like, oh, I'll call you back in a little bit. Hey, listen, I'm about to be asleep. I'm old, I go to bed, I get up early in the morning. And so he still had text or whatever. So I had texted back when I first got up in the morning for my early morning workout, right? And I think we ended up getting on the phone. That's what it was. So it's that morning. Getting to it, I promise y'all. So it's that morning, and so we talk for a little bit, we get off the phone. And then he called back. He FaceTime back. By that time, I'm getting Sydney, ready. We're just about finished, but getting out the door. So in my mind, I'm like, oh, I'm going to call him back, whatever, when I get in the car, whatever. The boy FaceTimed and then texted me and said, I called you. I never see a point of that. I don't know. I'm lying. Maybe never, but once something is established, like Jazz, I feel like if you and I like did it, be like, oh yeah, hey, I called you. But it's so funny how you and I find ourselves on like I'm just being considerate. Like I was just checking how, I love it. But this ain't it. I don't know. It got to be something established there for me. And maybe it's me, whatever. So my response immediately was, and I was proud of myself that I text right back. I text back in that exact same minute. It's 7:40 a.m. He had text that. And I said, and I saw it, ... I'm busy. First of all, let me pause here. Is that rude? Okay.
I won't say that it is rude, but I will say that I feel like in text message land, things can be received in a different way than if someone said it.
Okay.
And so, like, when somebody just read it, like, I saw it, I'm busy, someone might be like, is there an undertone of, like, snooty, like, sharpness with it? Or is it just like a... But I don't think that it was anything wrong with it.
Gotcha. And I'm considering things. I'm like, maybe you can give me that benefit of the doubt because you know me. So maybe, maybe.
Yeah.
So, okay.
I'm the queen of being offended by text messages, to be honest. And also, apparently, I'm the queen of also being misreceived via text message in that same exact breath. So
yes. Okay. So I'm taking
that's why I don't like text messages.
I got it. And look, and I'm still like, look, text me. Okay, but okay. So maybe this. I'm hearing this, and it's like it's soaking in. So I'm like, okay, sorry. Let me finish the story. So he responded like in that next minute and said, "Oh shit," right? And I think I remember saying that. I thought he said, oh, "Okay." But that was that. But I laughed at it. Like on iPhone, you can hold it and hide or whatever. I laughed at it because I'm like, I thought nothing of it. Like I thought it was light.
Right.
And in my defense, of course, it never got around to being able to say this or whatever because ain't no point. Even though I gave some context for him, that y'all will hear in a second. But to share with y'all, like, I actually had my phone in my hand and I feel like him calling, I was going to text to say like, hey, I'm gonna call you right back or something. That's how I text him to say, and I saw it, I'm busy. Okay. So like I said, he said that, I laughed at it. And then his next response, he was like, he double texted or whatever and said, my bad, won't bother you. Okay. I think you're doing a lot, but okay, whatever. And a lot in a little bit, like it's not huge, but whatever. So here's the little bit growing a little more. So now just a little, I think maybe like 15, 20, like 20 minutes later, then I text, are you busy? Because I'm showing you the consideration that I actually, I'm looking for, like, just consider, like, clearly I'm busy, like, whatever. And you're aware that I have a child, like, anyway.
Right.
So a child that attends school nonetheless. So, so I text, are you busy? Child, when I saw him respond, why? Okay. I already started drafting, like, at this point, it don't even matter. Like, so this is my exact next message. Clearly, because I was no longer busy and was going to call you back, but ... space it down. At this point, don't even worry about it. You've lost all my interest. Just lose my number and be blessed. A smiley face.
Wait, Benia, what was happening before that conversation? The something else happened?
That was enough for me.
Well, that's what I will say. Now that you put it all together in the context of him saying why, clearly he was offended by your I'm busy. But one could say that he was the type of man, because I personally don't like people who do that. Text me and say, I called you after they called me, because it feels like they're rushing me to contact them back with the assumption that I'm supposed to be available at your beck and call.
Yeah.
So
I can say a couple times, but you called once, and it's not like you were blowing my phone down. Like, are you okay? I called you, like that. I get in concern and worry, but like you said, I take that even without me thinking so far into it. That's basically where I'm coming from with that. Like, bro, chill out.
Listen, I think you made a good call, because even though it was real light, he gave a real clear indication that he got some insecurities.
Exactly,
and that he lightly let you know, like, clearly he's been involved with somebody who maybe was doing stuff, and that was what they were busy doing. And I've been that person before, where it was like, I've been like, what's he doing? You know what I mean? Especially once we've kind of established, like, I don't want to say a schedule, because I don't want to say that I be clocking people like that. But
like a routine.
But I do be clocking people a little bit. Like, I just want to know your schedule, so that way I won't contact you when I know you're busy. Yes. And so, like, that's my whole thing. But I do think that he was moving out of a place of insecurity. I've had people do that to me before, and it usually didn't get any better. Right, it usually got worse in just a few days. So, I mean, I think that you were able to recognize it, call a spade, and say, you got this book.
Exactly. I was able to depart in a civilized manner, right? Because now, I will say I did get petty, because that's not where the conversation ended. So
I figured. I know he had a comeback. He seemed like the type of guy that got comebacks.
And it's funny that you say insecurity, because I distinctly recall him saying, and it threw me because I didn't really catch it until later, but even though I had responded to it, something else like in our initial conversation, or maybe that in that morning, so first or second conversation, that's as far as we got, that he mentioned, it was something like, I think he mentioned, I don't know, it was something like, because I said, yeah, my trainer is going out of town. And he was like, where is he going to, like Zimbabwe or something or whatever? And I was just like, if he was, I'd be going. And so my next breath was about to be like, because I'm, like dying to get to, or living to get to, Africa. And I want to go like multiple times, visit multiple countries, yada, yada. And so before I could even get there, it's like, would you like him? What? Okay, like, so she pulled out insecurity, but so with the conversation.
No, yeah, he's super insecure. Is he a Libra? I'm a Libra, but
Jasmine, look, we got first and second conversation. The first conversation consisted of his issue at work. He asked some stuff about me that I barely remember. And that's it. I can't remember his name now. That's so sad. Like I would have to go through the text message. That is my.
Listen,
I don't know if that's a toxic trait, but when I be on, like, it's done. It's done. It was from. Does that say today?
Half the time, I'll be talking to people sometimes and forget their name while I'm still talking to them.
And that's
only because that goes into my thing of a good amount of men do not be making themselves stand out.
I was about to say, you gotta leave an imprint. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like they literally be almost the same person. Like, especially if we talk about via text message. Like, I could pull up 5 different men's text conversations. It's like, is this the same person?
Did they change your number? The same book? Is it a book? Is it a manual out here? Just tell me, so I know. Y'all on the same class. Oh, child.
Whenever men gathering together, they literally teaching each other from the book.
You gotta tell her this. That's what they say. You gotta ask her what you doing. You gotta hit it. They love that. No.
Hit her with the WID, yo.
Oh my gosh. So look.
Like, please don't.
Please do not. Not all day. Please. Every once in a while, you can sprinkle it in there. It's fine.
Right.
So at some point when I were like in the message that I sent, when I said just lose my number, he said, and I will loose, right? And then so he double checked and said things don't work your way. I simply, it's lose. And he put, you were rude. Adios. Okay. And I said, no, you're just bitter and hurt. It's simple math. If someone doesn't answer a call, it clearly means that they were unable to. No, not necessary. What? Oh, no. What is that? No necessary need to text them to say that you called. Borderline narcissistic. But carry on. Hope all works out for you anyhow. That's it. So if anyone was wondering, any of my faithful viewers, yes, I am still apparently out here pissing people off, because apparently I'm still good at it. I don't mean to be, but here I am. And so I have been, and where even the topic and all this came from is like, I seem, the only way I refer to it is like, I've been on this tour of just dismissing, like a dismissal tour. It's just like, left and right hand. And I've been saying it, I think, throughout the course of the pandemic, but I think much heavier in recent time, of like anyone that, and it never lasts long, of like talking, initial communication, contact or whatever, find something and it's just like, and it could be like a first little niche like that, like Jasmine pointed out, it's like, oh, that's an insecurity or whatever. And it could be like, okay. And I try to give it a chance, like immediate, like first thing, that's it. First things first, I'm out. But it's like, it still can be a buildup of very small, very minor things. It's just like, no. So that's the point of like these civil departures, to understand that once you get to any place, whatever, if you have hangups, you have hangups. If you have standards, I mentioned this earlier. I don't know if I can share this now, but I'll just say Jasmine and I had a conversation earlier. that.
No, you can say you were.
Okay.
I think we had said last week that you were going to be on my podcast.
Oh, good. Okay. So thank you. So, okay. Because I'll be trying not to all right. So, y'all. Oh, yes, you did. You definitely did give a good plug last week. I remember we were getting off. Well, first of all, you tell them. You give them all the information of where to, because that's what I want to.
Yeah. So it will be airing tomorrow. I'm gonna post it up on tomorrow, but it's on Spotify. The name of the podcast is Real Woman Shit. And Benia was a guest today, and our topic was dating and relationships.
Ooh, yes,
we talked a lot about things that we've learned and things that we've noticed. And we referenced some of our experiences in our childhood when we first started dating. Well, adolescent years. I won't necessarily say childhood because we weren't kids per se.
Right.
But yeah, one of the things you brought up today, which was super dope about the narcissist and your experiences, and I definitely related, as you already know. And even with what we were talking about earlier about healing from that, you begin to recognize things a little bit quicker, or just period. You just recognize it where before you don't. And one of the things that my brother and I were actually talking about the other day, I didn't mention this earlier, but he was like, guys say things to girls to get in their minds. He was like, we want you to sit and question it later down the line. Like, if you're not even on the phone, like, we want you to sit there and be like, what did he mean by that? Like, that's something that they do as a tactic. Wow. And so not necessarily to manipulate you, but it could be. And so, just like off the situation of him, the situation you just told us about him texting you and saying, I called you. Ultimately, in my mind, the first thing I hear is like I said, he wants you to pick up when he calls. And that's a good indication that a man is insecure. Men who are insecure want you to do everything how they want you to do it. And as soon as you don't, they get upset. And because in their minds, they're not good enough for you. And so they want to try to hold on to you and make you become so consumed with them that they don't realize, so that you don't realize that you're too good for them. Right. So they'll say little things to try to get into your emotions, make you feel bad, and try to control the way you move for them and all that. And that's definitely something I think I've experienced a lot, not just with my one partner that I just know is a narcissist, but from men in general. I think that the one thing that we have that works against us is that we do not get to see models of healthy relationships at a higher rate. And healthy relationships, not even just marriages, but just healthy dating, courting, whatever. Yeah. And so a lot of us, we do this thing where we literally do stuff that we've seen other people doing, seen stuff on TV. And unfortunately, especially in the Black culture, we get perpetuated with a lot of toxic relationship interactions. And so we take that on. And now we're, especially men, but women do it as well. And like, even just with the whole thing where like, I don't think any of us have ever not seen a movie where we seen a woman smack a man. You know what I mean? And so then you got women out here who really be trying to smack on these men. And then it turns on them. Now we smacking on him, and now what? Now he trying to fight us. And we like, oh my goodness, why is he putting his hands on me? And it's because we started it, essentially. We showed them that we were okay with this unhealthy physical behavior. And they picked it up. They said, all right, cool. This what you want? But I'm stronger than you.
Really. And in a lot of situations, that unfortunately is how it goes. And we're not saying that that's everybody's story, but unfortunately, in a lot of situations, yes. And there's no way of victim blaming, but to understand that in that scenario that Jasmine just shared, technically there are two victims out of the scenario. Right. And so I always speak to this fact of, if ever it comes up, that I am never okay with the idea, just as I'm not okay with the idea of a man putting his hands on a woman. Absolutely also not okay with the idea of a woman putting her hands on a man. And I'll go further to share that I have experienced both. Like, I've experienced both sides of that, being beat on like I was a man, and also, I'm sorry. I'm thinking though, like on the other side of it, I don't, as far as I can think, I don't think I've ever initiated, but still, I've still like put my hands, on a man. Most of the time it was like in self-defense and like literally fighting back, but still, like you said, like actively participating in an activity, not trying to lighten it, but in an activity or a behavior that I do not like. Like, I legit still to this day do not like to watch fight videos. And I'll be honest, I absolutely hate fight videos between Black people. I hate them. I hate them. I do not like to perpetuate violence in any way, shape, or form, especially amongst our kind, because we automatically get the stigma of being aggressive, of being angry, of not knowing how to articulate and to, I'm not even gonna say properly, but in a more healthy way to express ourselves and express our disagreements and disputes. Like, we do not have that upper hand in this current day, and never have had that. Whereas, and I'm not sorry about this at all, but to go all the way back of when we, our ancestors that were, I'll say, actual slaves, because slavery is still alive, and it's in a different form. But anywho, so the slavery that we read and learned about. So our ancestors there, of how they, pitched us against each other, like that was like where boxing came from, like where that, there was a form of entertainment for our oppressors to pin us against each other. And now we've continued that. So that's been placed in us. So even when you shared that your brother said that, men say things, and I wanted to speak to that point of that, to be very clear that is a clear sign of that is not the man for you, or for men or any other gender, that is not the partner or person for you. If that is the behavior and that is what you get from them, that you feel as though they are planting, and it's not for you to just, make up in your mind, like, yeah, he's saying stuff or she's saying stuff just to get in my head. Like, you have to be able to tell if it's you that's thinking that, or if it's clear that maybe not even that is articulated, that they clearly stated it, but that it's something along the lines of the fact that, that what you said, that your brother said earlier, is that, something has been planted in the mind in order for you to ponder on it later, instead of have the clear communication with me, correspond with me, speak with me, don't talk at me, speak with me, so that way we are, it's an equal playing field, like, you know what I mean? All right, Jasmine, I'm not gonna lie, I was gonna try to just text you and see, I'm sorry, and I'm not putting you on blast, but you okay?
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to check in. I'm sorry.
I just got a tickle in my throat, and I have my inhaler here, so I was like,
okay, that's why I asked, because I was like, listen,
I can stop coughing and on.
No, I'm just checking. Listen, I don't play about that, so I couldn't help it, because I was like, oh, I'm gonna text her the first time, but I was like, all right, I'm gonna leave it. Wait, okay, sorry.
I got chronic bronchitis, right?
Really? I did not mean to put you on the.
Oh no.
Okay, sorry.
It's very similar to asthma.
Wow.
But I don't get asthma attacks. Normally I just will have phases where I might cough more or cough, period. Where then other times I won't. Now when I get sick, it gets triggered, and then my cough is horrible. This cough. During swine flu, people swore I had swine flu. Of course, during COVID, people swore I had COVID. Yeah. I mean, in present day, people are like, you got COVID.
Oh, man.
But, yeah. All my life, I actually used to have a nebulizer and the machine. I used to have the machine and hook up my face, and before I went to bed when I was a kid.
Oh, man. Yeah, so I'm glad to see that you're doing okay, and that you're okay, just needing that. But like I said, I couldn't help it. I was just like, all right, I'm gonna check.
Thank you.
All right.
And actually, side note, I used to take steroids too. That's part of the reason why I gained weight.
Wow.
In my childhood, I took steroids for the coughing situation, and so yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I am familiar with the fact that I only know on the asthmatic side, so I know nothing about. Okay, so I didn't know. In my mind, I knew they were like in the same like family, but I didn't know how closely related in a sense that they are, just as far as like the remedy or what they suggest for it, because I know like on the asthmatic side that for I guess really bad or I guess chronic asthma, I guess what be that they prescribe like steroids and things like that. So wow.
Yeah.
But I was
the bronchitis, my bronchial tubes are crossed or something. It's easy for like fluid to get caught in it or mucus. Well, not fluid, mucus. Okay. And so when the mucus gets caught, then it'll make me cough.
Sheesh.
Yeah.
Lord. See, and that's what I mean. You never know what people are dealing with. And not to stay here. That's why I'm going to move us from this because I did not want to. I promise I didn't mean to stay there. I appreciate you just being open.
It's okay. I'm sorry. But, I did keep going.
But you never know what people are dealing with. Again, why it's okay. Back to even to tie in the topic, like why it's okay to depart from people in the same sense of like, oh, be kind to people because you don't know what they're dealing with. Be kind enough to yourself to be okay with departing from someone because you really don't know what physically, emotionally, spiritually, mentally, anything else like that they could be dealing with. And it doesn't mean, oh, you don't care. But also, what we have talked about plenty of times. Exactly. We've talked about plenty of times on the B-Mix. We have talked about the fact that it is totally okay. It is totally okay. It is totally okay. I'm going to say it again. It is totally okay to care for yourself and not to carry somebody else's stuff, especially even if you have an inkling. But especially if you are clear, but even just an inkling of the fact that this person is not your person, is not the person for you. We catch hold on to like, oh, I like you. Oh, I think you like me. Oh, I'm not really sure, but I'm hoping you'll like me, right? Like there are all these different scenarios and let's work this out. Let's try it. And you try to force this thing together. It's even okay. Let me go further with the civil departures. It's even okay, for the fact that if you you could like this person could like you. So there's some general interest there or mutual interest. Let's leave it there. Mutual interest, right? Because for some people that is enough to be like, oh yeah, let's take this further, which is okay. If it's on like good foundation. But if you feel as though, and you get to learning more about this person and realize that who this person is now doesn't even necessarily mean that they're a bad person, but who they are, what they are into, is not conducive to what you plan to or what you see for yourself and what you know that you're getting into, going into, growing into, glowing into, elevating into. That's not your person. Who you are with, who you are connected to should be elevating with you. They may be on their different levels and all that's fine because it's still an individual process. So the healing journey, life itself, purpose, fulfilling, all of that we, destiny, journeying toward our destiny, all of those things that we are to fulfill in life, that, it's still a very personal and individual journey, but whoever you are connected to and connected with, should be along those lines. If you feel that person is stagnant, they don't even have to be going backwards or lower, but if they're stagnant, that ain't your person. And
absolutely,
that ain't because that's not your person, especially. But even if you are the helper, the empath, right, the giver, all of that ain't your assignment. That ain't your place unless God spoke that up in you, like, hey, which I highly doubt, because that usually don't even be how it roll. Like he'll just cross paths and kind of let you be a blessing unto others in a sense. But
I appreciate that there are people who hold off on trying to start something with people because they know that they are working on themselves. And I think that that's something that many of us don't do. Now, I absolutely am a firm believer in you got to have some certain ducks in a row if you try and proceed in a relationship, especially if you doing it for all the reasons that technically you should be, which may be working towards marriage or a committed relationship. If you don't have yourself in order, how can you come to another person and say, hey, I want to be your partner? Like, what are you partnering with if you aren't done? And I'm not saying you have to be 100% complete, but certain things just don't equal, yeah, let me get in a relationship. If you strung out on drugs and you try and get clean, you probably shouldn't be looking for a girlfriend.
Priorities. Yes.
Yes. And so, it's just levels. And certain levels start off with just one. Just you working on yourself.
Isolation. Enjoy isolation.
Absolutely.
I get it. That's good. I thank you, because that helps me to tie in something very important that I was missing, like in all my notes, and I have not even touched any of my notes, but something I feel like I would be remiss not to mention. Well, thank you, as are you, and I appreciate you. Okay, just pouring into me today. I appreciate that. I need all of that. I don't even feel like
somebody's mama.
Girl, somebody's mama. And so the crazy part is,
I love that shirt so much. I keep referencing.
I love this shirt. Okay. And so the funny thing is, I was like, oh, maybe I should change my shirt. I have definitely been slipping on my shirt game of like, oh, what goes with the topic. But so in my mind, I was like, oh, the way it ties into this one, I'm somebody's mama, but it ain't yours. So that's why I will depart from thee. Okay.
That's
in a one manner these days, because no. But yeah, like,
you definitely got men out here looking for a new mama.
Okay, and
women that be looking for daddies. Okay, and that's definitely a thing. And that's how you know that they need to be working on their self-love.
And that's where you depart civilly. You can state your claim, maintain your peace, and depart. Those are your three. That's it. Y'all got that? State your claim, because I know we're in this place that I ain't explaining myself. I ain't Oh, that's fine. Even if you stick with, you're only gonna say it once. Okay, I'll take that. That's fine. But it is okay to say that, because and to kind of give you a little taste of earlier. So make sure y'all tune in tomorrow, like she said. But to give you a little taste that we talked about, like we mentioned about deposits. It is your responsibility, especially as someone of color, it is your responsibility to leave a positive imprint. We've talked about this plenty of times on the DMX. It is your, I don't know if you want to call it your societal obligation, your spiritual obligation. It is is what you're supposed to do. Okay. Wherever you want to lay that and wear that, it's still for you to wear. Okay, it is your size, it fits, put it on. That it is for you to leave positive imprints. We talked about this more recently, to make positive deposits, or y'all know I love the word, I really think I'm gonna coin this, depositives in people as you cross paths. You did not go back to, the drawing board where we used to hear, and I haven't heard it a lot at all really, but we used to hear it a lot of like, you met someone for a reason, like we get that those old people come in your life for a season, reason, got. But really, when they're talking about just even crossing paths, why did you, why were you in line behind that particular person at the store last time you were there, and they thought to share with you, or that they were the person that was so impatient and wanted to fuss about it only being 2 lines at Walmart, whatever. Like, and I always take, like, it does take a little more of me. I know I have to go within my deposit box in here somewhere. Like, I'm not going to feed into that. Like, they might even say something, but I'm not getting into pissing off the cashier. Like, it's still the cashier that's working. It's going to wait on me. I don't want to piss them off. And I get it. They here at work. It's not their business. They work in the cash register. They not the manager of why it's only 2 lines open and it's 150 million people in here around the holiday season. Okay, but why were you in that particular cashier's line? Why were you behind or in front of that particular person? Like, it's for you to leave those deposits, and it may not even be verbal. Hello, somebody. Like, they could have just, witnessed, like, wow, this person cussed them out, or this happened, and they just kept their cool. Hello, welcome to a positive imprint that you've just left on somebody to maybe, channel that.
That actually happened to me before.
See what I mean? Like,
I was at social services and a lady came in and she was so rude to me. So rude. And for whatever reason now, it really just kind of depended on the day and how I was feeling in the moment. Sometimes customers got more from me than other customers, depending on how they talk to me. Not like benefits, but like more response, right? So
I know you had to clear that up.
I wasn't coming in front. But I was like, that particular day, I was able to let it roll off of me. Probably because I might have been having a good day. And that's why I always say it's important on how you treat people, because like you said earlier, you never know what a person is going through. You could be the straw that breaks the camel's back. Okay. Your back might be the one to get broke. Okay. You might be the camel. So anyway, afterwards, she wound up, whatever she was going through, she wound up releasing it in the process. And she wound up apologizing to me. And she was like, she was like, I can't believe you were so nice. You were so patient. You were so kind. I apologize. You didn't deserve that. Thank you for not even being offended, even though I was offended. Right. I just didn't respond to it.
Exactly. So, in moments just like that I can say, because first I had this thought as you were talking, I was like, no, I'm not gonna say that. But I feel like I gotta be obedient to share this, that in just that scenario there alone, I think that it's safe to say that I can guarantee you that as you choose to leave a positive imprint and a positive impression, and even still, even if it's on a selfish tip of just, I choose my peace today. I choose my peace in this moment. That's fine. We'll take that, because peace is contagious. Positivity is contagious. Now, negativity tries to fight it because positivity is so contagious, but positivity wins overall. And I'll tell you why. Is because it's guaranteed that you will feel better about it, even in that moment of, getting cussed out and the person being nasty and rude and needing something from you, needing your help and all of that, that even if, because there's somebody out there, so I get it, somebody out there, you did not get that person to turn around and to apologize to you. So you out there have not received that apology that you deserve, and that you may feel as though that you are in need of. However, back to Jasmine's scenario, that it's either the time where you're empowered to, rise above being offended. So that's something that I think we skip over and belittle way too much. The piece where we are empowered to overcome our offense or our offensiveness is powerful, all in itself, all by itself. The fact that I'm able to sit here and, say if you move to tears or something, I'm a crybaby. Okay. So y'all know I represent for the crybabies. Okay. And so maybe move to tears, but it's like, and I'm definitely not telling nobody not to cry. Okay. But just saying that may be the sign that shows you what, thank you, Lord. You just, strengthened me to feel like this is something that would have broke me down right now, or this is something that would have moved me to tears, or I even feel them, or my eyes welled up. But positivity came over me and took over, and now I'm okay. I've released in a different way, because I was so much of a crybaby that I always believed that the only release that was good for me was to cry. And I had to realize no, that's not the only release that I need. Sometimes that was a big thing, because I did not want to believe that I needed other releases. No, bro, I gotta cry. If I don't cry it out, it ain't going. So it's like, it's okay.
I love a good cry though.
Listen, love.
I don't cry all the time. But when I do, that waterfall, and it's crazy because after I cry, I just could sometimes just move on. And I'm not a public crier. I'm a private crier.
I wanted to quote you for that, but I didn't want to put you on blast. Thank you for saying that. Because that's good.
Most people have never seen me cry. So people be like, and so if I actually do cry in front of a person, then I think that most people are like, oh, you must be really taken back, because I'm quick. I'll go to the bathroom. I do whatever I gotta do. ain't nobody gonna bear witness to these tears but me.
It's only me in this mirror.
And I mean, that's also still a thing where you get conditioned to believe that crying is a form of weakness. Where I don't, even though I don't believe that, I also am not a person that I don't like when I'm sad and people try to make me feel better. And so that's something that's like, I don't know. It don't work for me. Like, so it's like, I don't want everybody to get, like, especially if I'm around multiple people, I don't want everybody to crowd around me and like, oh, are you okay? Like, that makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah, you're like a self-soother. I get it. A self-soother. That makes sense. Yeah. And some people, and that's the whole point of what you do and what, I'm attempting to do here on the B-Mix is to empower people so much that your inner self is so much more empowered. Y'all, PSA, it is. I know I always love to put the letter B. So BSA, okay? I don't know, Benia service announcement. I don't know. I was like, what does this B stand for? Anyway, clearly I'm sleepy because okay. Duh. What else?
That was catchy. I like it.
Right
I might have to make me a JSA.
Okay. Listen, see what I mean? Period.
Jazzy
and that's why, because just in that it should be your inner self. So this is your BSA hashtag. That it is actually the goal and should, I know we talk about letting should go out of our vocabulary, but really we should get to a place where our inner self is more empowered. And yes, it is a real thing. It's more empowered than our outer being. Our outer being is only here for a temporary time. Death is real. Death happens. Death is actually what gives life its value because it makes life, we know that life is shortened. Life is short. And the fact that we are completely oblivious to how long the life that we live will last. But we know that our inner selves is what lives beyond our outer selves. And so we have the audacity and the nerve to ignore and to deter, not to deter, but let's just stick with ignore, to ignore our inner selves. So much so, but that's what lives on. That's what you're going to remember me by, for what's inside of me. And I'm not going to work on that. And I don't want that more empowered than my outer self. I'm not telling you don't care about what you look like on the outside. I am not telling you that at all. Hey, baby, do your thing. If you like beating your face down, you like getting your hair cut, if you like, getting it twisted up, braided up, whatever, putting on the bed, whatever. Now, I would love to see my people move away from being so stuck on name brands and all that, because all of them, y'all, it should be a newsflash by now. They're all racist. They ain't owned by us, they racist. And then some of us, if
that's what I tell my brother.
So just saying, like, cut it out. I want us to move on, but with baby steps, we kind of get there, I guess, not really. Because like canceled Gucci. I don't even like pictures where it's a black person wearing Gucci. H&M, same thing. Like if you didn't
what's happening with H&M?
Girl, that's the one where they had the little baby boy and he had the. I can't even remember what he had on there. The sweatshirt. I'm telling you, I know Sydney maybe has like a pair, and I'll be honest, because again, it's still, we're adapting to it, but it was something that was given to us, and I'm not like, I don't even know if she's worn them yet, she might have, but it's like, I'm not like, oh, she got on these H&M pants, even that word of mouth, I'm not boasting it. I'm not boasting it. It was some pants to throw on, if you happen to see the tag, but you shouldn't be that close to my child anyway to see the tag on her pants. So,
On top of that, Benia, one of the things I would love to see our people shy away from is idolizing these celebrities. Because really, that's where the fashion part is literally connected to the idolization of the celebrities.
Yes.
They see these celebrities wearing certain stuff, now they got to do it too. And it's like, you're still not a celebrity though.
You're still not, and I don't want to be the person to beat down on us, but we need the reality of it. You still don't get the same clout. I know it's a word that you don't receive immediately. As soon as you can literally go put on the exact same outfit that a celebrity had on, you do not. You might get more than what you had. Sure, that's fine. You don't receive the same acknowledgement as the celebrity that you are, idolizing or I keep wanting to say implementing, that's not the word, but just replicating, that's the word I'm looking for, that you are replicating. You don't get the same clout. Again, you might get more, but it's not the same clout as them, because nobody can be you but you. Nobody, thus meaning nobody can be that celebrity that you're idolizing, that you think that you're not idolizing, but you're actually idolizing. Nobody can be that celebrity but them. Yep.
You're a second-rate version.
That's it. So
it's like, okay. Don't go broke for that, you know? Like, for what?
Bust through with a black owned something.
Right.
Go broke for that. So don't go broke at all. Actually,
and you know, it's so funny. It's so funny because I'm not a brand person, like, at all. Like, I never been. But my brother, on the other hand, is, right? We grew up in the same household, but he also attached that with the clout of like, oh, the popularity or being on trend, like, oh, people seeing him got this on and like caring more about that, where I cared about looking nice. I just didn't care about the brand that was attached to it, because at the end of the day, if my outfit look good,
it look good.
People gonna say it look good.
And you gonna remember that
I'm still going to get the same exact compliments, maybe attention, that a person who spent over $1,000 on that outfit.
Wearing one outfit, and I'm speaking as a person
so somebody can say, "Ooh, I like that,"
because you're dressing for other people. Too many of us are out here dressing for other people. The people that are dressing for themselves aren't necessarily the ones. It may be far and few, but like when it lines up, y'all know that assignment, y'all know my baby's in pre-K, so I think a little homework assignment that she has. So the things that are, you got them lined, do one column over here, and then one column over here, you got to match them, like, oh, the cow starts with the letter C or whatever. Like, it just does not align that you have this column of individuals that are dressing for themselves. Like, oh, I like the color black, or I like lace, or I like this. It doesn't normally match up with the people that are so into brands, because the issue, and I'm using the term brand loosely, because for us, it should be at an all-time high that we blow up our own brands. So I'm okay with you being into brands. Be very clear. Choose the right brands. Depart civilly from these brands that are white owned. I'm saying it. That are white owned, okay? That are most likely racist, okay? That most likely do not care about the hue of your skin, that do not care about your, I gotta get y'all to hear how Sydney says her beautiful brown skin. That's how she refers to her skin now. And I love it, okay? But so that does not, these brands that do not care about your beautiful brown skin, no matter what shade it comes in, like, that rhymed, by the way, but they do not care. Like, so you should not, just to be honest, you should not care about their brand. And guess what? When you choose not to, they're still going to be okay, because their brand wasn't made for you anyway. They made it for their own people, but then they realized, oh, you want to be like them. So that's what y'all got to put it together and be stuck on brands. And again, I'm speaking from a person that used to be sick into brands and like just into brands, that thought, oh, I need this. I definitely have said, y'all can probably go back on my old Facebook post to see that I used to talk about the fact that I'm going to know I made it when I got everything Chanel. Benia, what? And truth be told, low key, like for any of the brands that we've grown up and all that, the high end brands that we knew coming up, that had always been my favorite, brand of all of them. And I was like, I don't want no knockoff. I had knockoff anything else, but I am no knockoff Chanel. I want no knockoff Chanel. I want the real thing, because when I make it, I know when I thought I was gonna be an attorney, I'm gonna have the Chanel briefcase and the Chanel suit and the Chanel. I remember the first time I even smelled Chanel. I was gonna say, come on, smelled Chanel perfume and hated it, and was trying to tell myself like, okay, I like it. Girl, what are you talking about? You gotta go get some Chantel. Okay.
It's so funny because the white people are much more smart with their money when it comes to clothes and things like that.
Making fun of them. Like, remember we used to make fun of, like, we would see the white man walking down with them. I'm still with
the North Face,
right? Like the ugly shoes.
The Moses, right?
And whole time it's because we all at Towson, and he walking in the Nordstrom just fine, just
right.
You know, high-end car and all of that, and like and we making fun of, but he is still trying to get the same thing and going broke for it when it's an easy buy for him, and he don't do it often, or he might have it, but it's only when he feel like it or whatever. Like, come on now.
Absolutely.
And I just want us to make better decisions. I want us to see how we have touched on a broad range of different things that I hope that you're able to, compile and put together that is still under civil departures. Anyone? Depart civilly from these things that do not serve you. Yeah, that's even Bible. Just saying. Depart from the things that do not serve you, the people that do not serve you. No, ladies and gentlemen, and those in between, I am not saying that somebody needs to be down on all fours, barking and handing you your plate. And what would they say in cater to you and putting your do-rag on and brushing your hair? Listen, all that's fine and good. If that's your thing in your relationship, because you are two healthy, healing people that have met and realized that you are meshed and meant for each other. So met and meant, okay? And so if that is the thing in your relationship, fine. However, it's too many of us that have not met our meant, okay? And we are trying to mesh something that just ain't meant to be. And then we think that
because it looks
catering, and that's not right? Like for whatever you think.
Because y'all look like a good couple, y'all look like a power couple, or whatever it may be. Do you like that person on the inside?
Okay, that's it. That's all.
Does that person's inside complement your inside?
Okay, listen. All right, triggering me because that's making me think of my shirt that I still want. Just saying.
Oh, I know.
No pressure, but
come and see.
I'm gonna need two of those. I'm not lying. I'm gonna need every color that you print them in because I'm going to wear that one down. That one going. You know how you love a shirt and you got the I'm gonna wear that one bad. Like that is my shirt. That's for me. Okay.
It is because you definitely was supposed to have it,
girl. I'm telling you. I'm on it. As soon as I see it, like, yep. Click, 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 click. Thank you. Like, just saying. So, shop Queen Me, y'all. You're welcome. queen-me.com. Statement t-shirts, and I also offer Afterpay now. Yeah. And so you can purchase a shirt or multiple shirts and pay in payments in increments of 4 every 2 weeks. So my t-shirts. Yeah, my t-shirts are in the 20s and the crop tops are also in the 20s and the sweatshirts are in the 40s. So $10 every 2 weeks for a sweatshirt for 4 weeks. Or, I'm telling y'all, and also everything is so soft, okay? It's so soft. I'm sorry, I was interrupting. Go ahead. You're right. It is soft. It is. No, but I'm sorry. Your last plug because I was going to. Oh yeah. Self-love journal, self-love activity journal. Queen Me self-love activity journal, available on Amazon, and yeah. And that's QUEENMEE, y'all. Me is with 2 E's. She wants you to take double dose of yourself. Okay. Me. Yes. Like you screaming it, Queen Me. Yes. Queen Me. Okay. Like that. I love it. That's exactly it, though. It's empowering. Like it's so good, y'all. It's so rich. I'm telling y'all, it's not just because I know and love her. Like it's really good. Like her shirts and sweatshirts, all of that is so soft. I don't know about nobody else. It's just something good to put on. And then like the sweatshirts are soft too. I believe the sweatshirts are actually they're fleece sweatshirts, so they're like a little slightly silky. Yeah. Oh, that's sassy. Mm-hmm. That's good. But just like how I just said, it's something good to put on, like legit feels good, like physically, but then feels good in every other sense of the term of like a feel good statement kind of. That's what you want to put on yourself. That's what you want to put on your body. That's what you want the world to see you wearing, not somebody's high-end brand that probably does not care about you. Yep. But yet we quick to say that a Black owned, a minority owned, something, they don't care about us, even if you did, even if it is, and we're not talking about Queen Me, but there are unfortunately just those of us that have had experiences that were not so good, maybe customer service or something like that with minority owned businesses. Okay, that's fine, But the same thing as if you had that issue at Walmart, you still going back or you still going to another Walmart. So you still giving Walmart your money. Just saying. Like, we got to think these things. We have
it's so funny. I recently thought about something. Like, I've never had any complaints with customer service with my brand, but I've heard, of course, other people complain about different things. And one thing that I will say that nobody ever talks about, a lot of times, sometimes, well, not, I won't say a lot, but sometimes people don't even interact with people who own small businesses, especially the people who know those people who own those small businesses, don't even interact to make this purchase as if they are an actual customer of an actual store, you know?
Okay.
Like recently, like my brand is basically online. So you go to your website, you make the order. We don't actually have to have a conversation, but I've had people message me and say, "Oh, I want to buy a shirt," and it's like,
okay, so here's the link. Here you are.
Website,
right?
Did you see the website?
Here you are. Like, and that's okay.
Like, but I want to buy it through you.
Like, right. No.
You're messing up the flow.
Right. Right. I want you to
be mindful of that. Be cognizant that you can also make a person wind up trying to make them work for you instead of abiding by the standard that is already in place across the board.
And that's it.
Not just with that business.
Right. And that's exactly why I believe in and push for, like, I always say education and exposure. Those are like my personal platforms for us. And it's because I think of, like, there's somebody somewhere, and I even think of for myself, like, it's personally, and I'm not saying this, right, but personally, I've always been like business minded, business-like minded, but I know that there are those of us that, you know, just are not, that whatever capacity that, you know, their hands are meant to do and to be, and how they think, okay, that's fine, and literally no shade at all, but just do not know the ways of business to even consider, like, oh, you know what, if I'm trying to make this purchase this way, I'm probably messing up. Like, there are some people that wouldn't even cross their minds. And so this is why I feel like that we are to take the time. So I'm glad you even brought that up, to take the time to talk these things through, to just share, like, bro, it ain't that. Like, it ain't that I'm trying to be, you know, tough and whatever people misconstrue that to be. It's like, no, just I have an online, you know, like, services shop, or business or shop or boutique or whatever. Just here you are. And just furthermore, because it made me think of the fact that I've had to, for my own self, like, just be okay with, here's the Benia, be like, oh, I don't know if I want to come off like that. But just to be like, hey, well, here's the link, because it'll be like, oh, yes, send me the link to your book. Okay. Well, I'm going to go get it and copy and paste and boop. Like, instead of being like, oh, no, it's okay. Just, no, here you are. You said you want to support, you want it, and okay. Like, and we have to walk in that. So it's the same thing. It's like, but imagine for those of people, all of us are consumers. So those of us as the consumers to somebody else's business, consider the pep talk that they have to give themselves, especially as I never refer to small businesses. I don't like that, especially minority owned businesses. So minority owned, Black owned, women owned, however you want to put it, though these businesses that are, you know, I'm going to just manifest that are thriving out of, you know, the pandemic, or even those that started before the pandemic, but just now in this wave of entrepreneurship and amongst our community. Just imagine, as the consumer, imagine the pep talk that business owners have to give themselves. And then consider the pandemic, of how it just, you know, hit and rocked a lot of businesses, you know? Like, just consider that alone before the next time that you go to, like, complain about something. Cut it out.
Yeah. I was listening to a podcast recently where somebody was complaining about a small business, and they were like, and it was actually a podcast. I'm not going to name drop the podcast. Okay. I ain't trying to put nobody on blast. But the person was like, yeah, I went online and, like, basically, like, dragged them, right, on social media. And the guest on the podcast was like, well, did you message them and let them know, like, your issue? And she was like, no. And I was like, well, how you supposed to be supportive of a small Black business if you're so quick to get online and drag them? Right. Maybe they weren't aware. So then you didn't even bring it to their attention, right, only in a way to potentially make them lose customers.
Right.
And so...
Exactly that. Thank you, because I was afraid that it was going to stay at I went online to drag them. So I'm so grateful that other part of it came, that where they asked, like, well, did you let them know? Because that goes back to the platform of education and exposure. You wanted to automatically jump to exposing them and exposing your circumstance, your experience, which you technically do have the right, but why would you want to?
And so a small business.
Right. That goes
a business that probably had to teach themselves, still learning in the process. And we're all humans.
Exactly. We don't allowed to make mistakes.
Large staff like Walmart and Macy's and Nordstrom's, where they got protocols and training books and supervisors
and they
and managers
still make
and
mistakes.
departments.
Be clear.
And they still make mistakes.
Okay, because we would not just over Walmart only having 2 lines. So they will put you in a very let's talk about it. Now I'm hot. Like, they will inconvenience you to the max. Have you standing in lines because they probably somebody said, well, they stand in line for Jordan. So of course they'll stand in line to give us all this money, because we always know you go to Walmart, you only want to spend a little bit of money. And here you go, spending more than you meant to. And you're going to complain, but you still want to abide by the fact that they only have 2 or 3 lines open. And that's why that, and you want to return.
I don't go to Walmart if I don't got to. Only way I'm going to Walmart is if I know that for sure I got quite a few things to purchase. Because there's been times like I'll be like, oh, I need to go get something small. And I'll be damned if I'm about to go to Walmart and run into some long behind line for one little item that's this big. That's how you get people be ready to steal, because it's like, I wanted to pay for it, but come on.
Girl. I was going to pay for it, but here y'all go again.
At this point, this deodorant, y'all already got this included in your daggone loss prevention budget. So y'all better get on my face. I used to work in retail. I know how they roll.
Oh, God.
All those businesses prepared a budget. They had a set amount that they already know they will lose through theft.
Yeesh. Just to insert this here on the BBix and BeExposedRadio.com, we are in no way, shape, or form promoting or encouraging theft, especially not at Walmart. Now, a part of me, my back mind is like, but if you all let me know, just joking.
But if you go through self-checkout, it might happen accidentally.
The ones that cracked me up, I just watched one and I hollered. This girl, she had oh God, I wish I could remember. I'm gonna just say a tomato or something. When I say she had, it was on TikTok, so of course it was all jokes, but it was like she had her iPhone, her iPad, like the MacBook, all of that, just scanning the tomato, like, and had it.
Oh my God.
I was screaming, like, Lord, listen, because I've seen too many memes that said, listen, Lord, now, if you'll forgive me that I scanned this tomato for, some shoes, then that is hilarious. But no, we're in no way, shape, or form encouraging it. But I get the point. I totally get it. But then that's exactly it. And then they still probably depend on the point that you said of like, well, I'm only going to go if I need multiple items. So that's more money that they would, gain from you versus the, like they can depend on that. And smaller or, independent, these are words I'll try to use for independent businesses and minority-owned businesses and all do not have that luxury to depend on like, okay, because you want to fight over one item and trying to figure out why it costs this much when they're doing all the arm work. Yeah. They are putting in all the blood, sweat, and tears, like totally not fair. And to be totally okay with the fact that these brands that you are giving your hard-earned money, yes, you have the right to spend your money where you want to, but it's all about intentionality. Intentional about everything. It's one of the best compliments that I have received lately, which I don't even really agree with, but I'll receive it. That they said, like, hey, because I've definitely been wearing some clean knees, and even the J. Cherie's, like I've been some of those too, right? And that's so cool. Okay,
my throwbacks.
Okay, Terry. Okay,
my bestseller.
Yeah, exactly. So, but like somebody recently said, like, oh my gosh, you always have on a shirt. As a matter of fact, it's two people. Shout out to my daughter's Gigi, and then someone at, that's in my workout session. I've heard this in recent, like past couple months or so. Yeah, I think last month or something. They said that like you always just wear something, like a good statement, something to say it. I'm just like, one, because intentionally, that's what I'm drawn to anyway, but intentionally I wear it because I'm pouring into myself. Like, how often have we back when we was wearing shirts from like Spencer's and Hot Topic and stuff. Remember, you know, it'd be like the funny play on like a guy wearing a shirt like I like boobs or something. He didn't completely forgot that he either has on a shirt. So he's either getting pulled up because we were in high school or something, getting pulled up that he's wearing this inappropriate attire, or that somebody's like pointing and laughing, ha ha ha, look at this shirt, you completely forgot. But when I wear something that says somebody's mama, or when I wear something that says it's not personal, it's vibrational, oh, I know what I have on. Yeah, because I done looked at that thing. I done made sure it wasn't wrinkled around the neck like the other one. I might, thrown on and didn't really say anything. Like, it's all about that, and so it is about pouring into yourself so much. So I implore you, because of the topic today, to depart from these things, those things, many things that you have in life easily at your disposal right now. These things and people that do not serve you. That do not serve your, I always think of you when I say that do not serve your vibrations, that do not serve, your elevation, where you're looking to go, where you know that you are being drawn to, like in the good ways and the good paths, and depart from these things that deter you from making these depositives, these positive deposits, leaving these positive impressions, these positive impacts, these positive marks on the world in which you live in, that you will not be here for long. It is not to scare anyone and not to turn into a morbid, session, but we just not gonna be here. Yeah. Okay. Absolutely. We got it. We good? Everybody straight? Cool. Listen, I'm gonna tell y'all now, happy Thanksgiving, or to anyone that does not celebrate it officially, happy holidays. Next week is our bye week, so I'm saying bye-bye for now, but I will miss you. Get some good time with family and just enjoy, even if it's in isolation, whatever it is, get some good rest. Okay, eat some good food.
It's so funny because I forgot that next week was Thanksgiving. And when you said you were taking off next week, I was like, for real? Now that
I'm like, just decided on that, and then got on here and was talking to our producer, our belated birthday boy. Monty was just like, yeah, and he was like, yeah, that's right, because we're close to holiday. And I was like, oh, well, good, wonderful. That makes me feel better, because I was like, I don't even feel overwhelmed, but I just want to I want to take a break when I'm at an okay place, not waiting until I'm at a very low and heavy place. So with that being said, all hearts and minds are clear. Thank you, Jasmine, again for coming back. We hope to see you after the break. And if nobody else told y'all tonight, I love you, and I mean it. Nothing you can do about it. Until next week, next time, peace.